Hare Krishna. Audible? Actually, first and foremost, I express my gratitude to Braj Prakash Prabhu, Yashomati Nandan Prabhu, and all other leaders of Kuwait Yatra. With every program, my appreciation for your community is just like growing so much. Actually, such wonderful devotees. I was speaking to him that sometimes, outside of India, we might feel like there's challenges in practicing bhakti and all that, but looking at you, we feel like, oh, this is in fact better than even in India, where devotees, sometimes there may be big temples and all, but then devotees sometimes cannot have so much association of each other. They are distantly located and places are also very far. This is like a closely bonded family, literally like a family, a huge family of all the congregation. And with every single program of Srila Prabhupada, with every single program, my appreciation is actually growing so much. By the end of the visit, I think I will myself go with 10 times energy and vigor to continue the preaching of Krishna consciousness. And also
we can bring a transfer here.
I am getting it from you. How am I to transfer back to you? I am getting it from you. That way. So thank you so much actually for being source of inspiration for me, actually speaking. All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanan Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Together. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahakana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namaum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauradvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpataru Vyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सर्वशास्त्राब्धिपीयूष सर्ववेदैक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धान्तरत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैकदृक्प्रद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभो कलिध्वान्तोदितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तित। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम की जय। Hare Krishna. So very happy to be amongst you back. Yesterday we had some programs and then very happy again. Today noon also we have this wonderful topic discussion on history of Srimad Bhagavatam in Gaudiya sampradaya. So we begin by offering our obeisances to 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan who are the most prominent acharyas, direct students of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and who gave us this wonderful gift of Srimad Bhagavatam's explanations. So we offer our obeisances to Srila Rup Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Srila Jiva Goswami. We also offer our obeisances to these two great personalities, Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan. They are known as the philosophers of our sampradaya.
Let us share the screen.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's there.
It's there? Yes. How do I move this out of the view? On the side? It goes up.
That corner, one corner and
Doesn't go. Okay. Okay, maybe. That's all it can.
sorry.
Okay. No problem. So we offer our obeisances to these two great personalities also. They have a great contribution in reviving Srimad Bhagavatam's study, especially Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya. And finally, our greatest gratitude, deepest gratitude to His Divine Grace, Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, by whose mercy only actually we are all coming to the path of Krishna consciousness. Each one of us owes that gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. Through his books or through his disciples, through his grand disciples, we have come to Krishna consciousness. So we offer our obeisances to him also. So this is a complete course, as I said, establishing Bhagavatam as highest Praman. So out of this history of Srimad Bhagavatam in Gaudiya Sampradaya, that's the first topic, and today we wish to discuss that. How much time we have, Prabhu? We can go about 1 hour.
Till Bhakti Shastra.
Okay, so we have good time. So we'll be able to do full justice with this. Yeah, understand. Yes. You know, when I was a child, I was very fond of magic shows. Children are very fond of magic shows, right? No, so there was this great magician called P.C. Sarkar.
Yes.
And P.C. Sarkar met Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan. In one summer of 1972, I think, this great magician, P.C. Sarkar, you have heard?
Yes.
His name is quite a, he's like David Copperfield of India. You know, he had whole Taj Mahal disappear like that. Like how David Copperfield did the same for Statue of Liberty.
Okay.
you know, Statue of Liberty was gone. So they are known for that magic, Indrajal. So P.C. Sarkarji came to Vrindavan, and you have seen Prabhupada's quarters, Prabhupada's home in Vrindavan, right? So there he came to meet Prabhupada, and he said, Swamiji, if you want, I could do a magic show for the pleasure of all the devotees, like that. And devotees felt,
Language.
Hindi or English?
इधर पूछिए आप.
किसी को अंग्रेजी समझ में नहीं आता है.
हाँ प्रभु जी, माता पिता गए हैं तो
किसको हिंदी समझ नहीं आता?
किसी को
इंग्लिश में पूछिए. Could you follow Hindi?
so who are not understanding Hindi. दो है ना प्रभु जी.
You want to say camping?
So in between we have some Hindi.
Okay. All right. English. That is the toughest one. Hindi is fine. English is also okay. English is okay. Because what happens is sometimes some most essential where everybody is laughing and you forget to translate that. That's how it happens. And then the one who is expecting Hindi is wondering, he's killing the joke. Like that. Right. Okay, I'll try my best. So जादूगर पीसी सरकार जो है एक बार वृंदावन में आए प्रभुपाद की भेंट करने. तो फिर जैसे आए वो, as soon as he came, he asked that for devotee service, can I have some magic show, right? Everyone wants to serve devotees in their own ways. So then devotees felt, oh, what is this magic show and all? There is enough Maya in the world. Why you want more artificial Maya? So, but when they asked Prabhupada said, yes, why not? We should have magic show. Like that. So then everybody was invited to Prabhupada's quarters. Prabhupada sat at his desk, right now also we see. And Gurukula boys, they came also. They were most enthusiastic. Magic show, let's go, like that. So everybody came, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, children, they sat around, surrounding Prabhupada. And there was P.C. Sarkar doing exclusive show for Prabhupada and devotees, like that. So he started doing all his magic tricks. So he had some coins that he placed on Prabhupada's hand, and then he was taking out the coins from Prabhupada's ears. He took out one coin from Prabhupada's nose, and devotees started feeling, why is he making Prabhupada the object of experiment? They were feeling it's not good, we should stop this. But Prabhupada was enjoying. Oh, he said, very nice, wonderful, what more you have, like that. So then he created some rabbits also, rabbits from the hat and all those popular shows. So like that he entertained all the devotees for almost 20-25 minutes. Amazing things he did, And then the show ended this way. So P.C. Sarkarji, he was a very humble person actually. So he sat at the feet of Prabhupada. He also had a great pride for Prabhupada because Prabhupada came from Bengal. And Sarkarji was also from Bengal. So he thought, our Bengali person, our Bengali Acharya has conquered the whole world. We are proud of him. Right? So he had that sort of feeling also. So he sat at the feet of Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, how did you find my magic show? Prabhupada said, it was wonderful. Like that. So he said, yeah, I do these magic shows all over the world and they appreciate Prabhupada. Like that. So he said, Prabhupada, what in my magic you liked the most? Prabhupada said, you were making so many things disappear. That was amazing. You were making you showed some rabbit or like that, some animals, some birds, and you were making them disappear, like that. So this was most wonderful. But then Prabhupada said, Sarkarji, I am a better magician than you. And he was like, मैं आपसे अच्छा जादूगर हूँ, प्रभुपाद जी बोले उनको. तो वो बोले, प्रभुपाद जी वो कैसे? How is that? You are a better. You also know magic, Prabhupada? Yes. Prabhupada said, I know better magic than you. तो बोले कैसे प्रभुपाद आप क्या गायब कर सकते हो? तो प्रभुपाद said, I can make birth, old age, disease and death disappear. मैं जन्म मृत्यु जरा और व्याधि को मैं गायब कर सकता हूँ. और प्रभुपाद ने पूछा सरकार जी से, क्या आप उसको कर सकते हैं? तो पीसी सरकार said, Prabhupada, I can't do that. That only you can do. Prabhupada said, who is greater magician? He said, Prabhupada, you are the greatest magician. There is no better magician than you. He said, you are the greatest magician. So actually Prabhupada is that magician. He can make birth, old age, disease and death disappear. What is that magic wand? वो जादू की छड़ी क्या है जिससे प्रभुपाद yes, just see, this is the glory of Prabhupada. Hari Bol. As soon as I said वो जादू की छड़ी क्या है तो उन्होंने बोला कृष्ण भक्ति. ये जादू की छड़ी है. So wonderful. So actually that's the process of Krishna consciousness. Very nice you said. So this is the heart of that process. Chanting the holy names of the Lord, like we did Kirtans. You were doing Kirtans before I came also. And then we are discussing this Krishna Katha. ये छड़ी है जादू की. And by the end of our life, Prabhupada was once asked by a reporter, Swamiji, you always say that birth, old age, disease, death, conquer it by accepting Krishna consciousness. Do the devotees not get old? Devotee बुढ़े नहीं होते क्या? Do the devotees not die? Do they not die? उनका मृत्यु नहीं होता है? उनकी मृत्यु नहीं होती है? So why do you say like that? Reporters would ask challenging questions to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, yes, the devotees are also dying. The devotees are also getting old. Prabhupada said, but they are dying to live eternally. They are not dying to die again and again and again. They are dying to live eternally. This is the last time that they are dying, Prabhupada said. This way. So, you live to die or you die to live. You have to see that, right? So, in material world, everybody lives to die and die again and again, because if you continue in the cycle of birth and death. But the devotees are dying to live eternally, in the spiritual world, right? Prabhupada explained that how, it's like cat being carried by the kitten and rat being carried by the cat. Kitten being carried by the cat and rat being carried by the cat. Right? जैसे एक बिल्ली होती है तो बिल्ली के मुख में चूहा भी है, उसको लेके जा रही है बिल्ली, और बिल्ली के मुख में अपना बिल्ली का बच्चा जो है वो भी है. तो दोनों में फ़र्क है ना. जब चूहे को लेके जा रही है और अपने बच्चे को लेके जा रहे हैं, दोनों मुंह में दिख रहे हैं आपको, लेकिन उसमें ज़मीन आसमान का अंतर है. तो वैसे जब भगवान भक्तों को लेके चले जाते हैं मृत्यु के पश्चात, वो वैसा है जैसे एक बिल्ली अपने शावक को, अपने बच्चे को लेके जा रही है. बट अगर हम लोग भक्त नहीं हैं तो फिर माया देवी जो है वो लेके जा रही है फॉर फर्दर बॉडीज एंड ऑल दैट. तो ये बात है एक्चुअली. दिस इज द ग्लोरी ऑफ कृष्ण कॉन्शियसनेस दैट वी हैव दिस प्रोसेस. And as part of this process today, in today's session, we want to know about the glory of our sampradaya. Outside world, you must have seen, when you study in a big university, then they have alumni, right? Whenever you talk about a big university, they advertised. पता है हमारे यूनिवर्सिटी के alumni कौन है? ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी, सर आइजैक न्यूटन. ऑक्सफोर्ड में जाने वाले को लगेगा, अरे वाह, आइजैक न्यूटन, मैं भी आज इस यूनिवर्सिटी में हूँ. ही विल फील ग्रेट प्राइड, राइट? आई एम इन दैट सेम यूनिवर्सिटी वेयर आइजैक न्यूटन स्टडीड. न्यूटन स्टडीड इन ऑक्सफोर्ड और कैम्ब्रिज? आई थिंक ऑक्सफोर्ड. ऑक्सफोर्ड. आइंस्टाइन वॉज ऑल्सो ऑक्सफोर्ड्स ग्रेजुएट. So, when you hear about the alumni, you feel a great pride because you identify with that. So when we hear about our alumni, our Sampradaya's alumni, all these great pass outs of our university, then we will feel like, oh, I belong to what a glorious university, glorious sampradaya. हमारे alumni कौन है एक एक? रूप गोस्वामी, जीव गोस्वामी, बलदेव विद्याभूषण, रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी, विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर, दिग्गज है एक एक. They are big stalwarts that way. So Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya, and within that ISKCON is our alma mater, our mother university, and you see the great alumni. So when you learn about the history, sometimes people wonder why you should study history. History is study of, they say, history is study of successful, unsuccessful, glorious, and spurious, all sorts of dead people. The last adjective is dead. So why should we study like that? But actually, one of the most important things why we study is it will give the right identification to us. When we study, especially our own Sampradaya's glory, when we study about the sacrifice of our acharyas, sacrifice of Srila Prabhupada, all the complete Sampradaya, then we get the right identification, we get that pride in a positive manner, not in negative, that healthy pride of belonging to such a glorious tradition. And that is a very wonderful feeling when we have that inner joy of belonging to a great tradition. It also makes you responsible. I belong to such, like, right, if I am studying in IIT, I can't fail, every now and then. People will say, ये पैसे दे के आया लग रहा है, ये कैसे आ गया है, इसको किसने लेके आए, ऐसे ही आया है, like that. पैसे खिला दिए लगता है top में कुछ. So we want to be worthy candidates when we study about, our own institution, our own sampradaya, like that. So once those mindsets are properly set, then you see, all other aspects of bhakti follow very wonderfully, like that. Yes. So that's the purpose of today's session, actually, of studying history of Srimad Bhagavatam in Gaudiya Sampradaya. Especially how the revival of Srimad Bhagavatam happened in Gaudiya Sampradaya. This we are going to talk about this aspect. So this is going to be a somewhat historical session. So you will find that we'll discuss especially eras and also what happened in a particular era, like that. So I'm going to begin from an era where Buddhism became very most prominent in, especially in Bharatvarsha, in India. So Buddhism before 2300 years became a very, very prominent path when there was this king called Ashoka. Ashoka became a follower of Buddha, and then in Buddhism 2300 years back in India, the Buddhism spread very rapidly. So how Shankaracharya revived first and foremost the Vedic realm, we'll talk about that. But what is the process of this path and what is the goal of this path? Like Karma Kand, what is their process and what is their goal? Jnana Kand, what is their process, what is their goal? Same way with Upasana Kand. Yes. Someone would like to tell? Karma Kand, yes.
Karma Kanda is like fruitive activity.
Fruitive activities, yes.
Mainly for sense gratification.
Yes. So what do they do? What is their process? How do they?
Seeking atonement.
Yeah, that is after you do some
various
sinful activity.
various
Yes.
yajnas.
But how do yajnas? That's the answer. Process is yajna. You perform yajna or yajna, sacrifices, and what is their goal?
Sense gratification.
Sense gratification. Yeah. See, fruitive activities would be the process. The goal is what? The goal is that they want sense enjoyment. So sense enjoyment in this world or sense enjoyment beyond this world, which is Swarga. So typically they are desirers of Swarga, Swarga Abhilashi. Krishna also talks about them, right? Yamimam pushpitam vacham prabadantya vipischita vedavada ratha partha nanyadastiti vadina. He talks about how these are vedavada ratha. When it comes to Jnana Kand, what is the process, what is the goal? Someone wants to tell? Jnana Kand. Yes, who was that? Mataji? Some. Okay, meditate. Meditate on what?
On
Super
super soul,
soul?
like Krishna.
Okay, partially right. What would be the goal of Jnana Kandis? You know the goal? Brahman.
Impersonal.
Yeah. Okay. So Jnana Kandis, they have a process where they study Shastra actually, and as part of that study of Shastra, Vedanta, they also meditate on Paramatma. It is there. But their main process is Vedanta Vimarshan. वेदांत की चर्चा करते हैं. तो वो लोगों को ये सब ऐसे सब वाक्य बड़े अच्छे लगते हैं. अहम ब्रह्मास्मि, सोहम. Before I came to Krishna consciousness, I used to do soham meditation. No, so they took us into a room, and then you have to say soham like that. And like this they made us do for 1 hour. So at the end of soham, I was so hungry. And then I said, is there anything to eat? So they said, no, then nothing. You go at your home and eat. Don't ask us anything. So I left with so hungry that kind of this. And then yesterday I was sharing my experience with ISKCON. So when I went to devotees, they said, so I said, I used to do soham meditation. Devotee said, no soham, da soham. He said, no soham, da soham. That is our meditation. Like that. One time one Mayavadi wrote soham. Soham means what? I am that. Saha is that. Aham is I. I am that. I am supreme. This is their meditation. I am supreme. Meaning whatever is Supreme Lord, I am non-different from Him. Is that true? It's not true, right? So Acharya, our Acharyas, Madhvacharya says, it's not that I am that, but I belong to that. He said, that is Soham. I belong to that. So one time one Mayavadi wrote Soham on the wall. So Vaishnava came and put Da in front of it. Da Soham. I am servant of Krishna. So Mayavadi got very angry. Then he came and wrote Sa in front of that. Sada Soham. I am always that. Vaishnava came and wrote Da in front of Das Soham. Abhi bolo kya bologe? Das Soham. I am servant of servant of servant. Like that. Mayavadi bola, ठीक है भाई, चाहो तुम. That way, right? However, Kulashekhala Alvar says though, Mad prarthaniya madanugraha esha eva, Mad janmana phalamidam madhukaitabare, Mad prarthaniya madanugraha esha eva, Tvad bhritya paricharak bhritya bhrittasya bhritya iti mam smara lokanath. 7 times bhritya. Bhritya means das. Das soham. Similarly, bhritya. We are servants of the devotees, right? This particular aspect. So, Jnana Kandis, they like these statements like Soham, or they like Tattvam Masi, you are that, that thou art, you are that. Or they like these statements such as Prajnanam Brahma. All these are their Mahavakya. They call it Mahavakya. These are the great statements in Shastra. They feel like, although these statements come in some corner of some Upanishad, somewhere they are there, but they will call it as Mahavakya. Mahaprabhu said Mahavakya of Vedas is Pranav, Omkar. Omkar is everywhere. like that. So Jnanakandis, they study Vedanta, and what is their goal? The goal is merging in impersonal Brahman. That's the goal. Merging in impersonal Brahman. That is called Sayujya Mukti. You have heard that term? Sayujya Mukti. Yeah. So they want to merge. They want to end their existence. Their life was so miserable here in the material world that they want to end that existence and Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Right? Sometimes if you are too much troubled by people around you, what do you say? Chhod do mujhe Shanti chahiye. Like that. Leave me alone. And we feel like, let me sit in some room alone and then now I am happy. But actually that is only because of the frustration. Imagine if you have all beautiful, wonderful devotees, affectionate devotees surrounding you. Would you prefer that Shanti, or you would prefer these wonderful devotees where we are discussing Krishna Katha and all that, right? So, Jnanakanda's goal is more out of frustration of material relationships. And finally comes Upasana Kand, in which, Upasana Kand's process and goal, anyone knows? See, Upasana Kanda's goal can be also anything from material pleasure to moksha, but the process is worship of deities. That is Upasana Kanda. You worship the deities, Upasana, Ija or Dhyanam, you meditate on the deities. In Karma Kand, there is no deity worship. Sometimes these people say, right, in Vedas, where is deity worship mentioned? Why? Because they are referring to only Karma Kand section. And in Karma Kand, there is no deity worship. In Karma Kand, there is only Yajna. If you see in some Karma Kandi ritual deity worship, what they are doing is they are combining the elements of Upasana Kand and Karma Kand, actually speaking, this way. So, the Vedas, they are basically having these three topics. So, where does Bhakti fall in this? Upasana Kand. Very nice. Bhakti falls in Upasana Kand, but the goal of Bhakta is not something material. It's not Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. It is what?
Prema.
It is Prema, love of Godhead. So, Upasana Kand is the best, Bhakti is the best type of Upasana, you could say. It's the best in that broad spectrum of Upasana Kand. Bhakti is the best aspect, this way. So, what happened? These Upanishads, which are considered to be the Jnana Kand section, so they are considered as Vedanta. Vedanta. You have heard? What does the word Vedanta mean? End of knowledge. Yes, conclusion of knowledge, end of knowledge. So, the Vedanta, Upanishads are known as Vedanta actually. Because Upanishads are the final books to be studied in the Vedas. They are studied by sannyasis typically. That's why they are known as Vedanta. But that Vedanta's natural commentary is what? Srimad Bhagavatam, we saw. So Srimad Bhagavatam gives the real essence of that Upanishad. So these Upanishads, they are always glorified as the Vedanta, as the most prominent section of Vedas. They are highly revered. They are studied by all these Jnani people. They study Upanishads, right? One time, some Srila Prabhupada's, one Mataji disciple was there. And in Rajasthan, she was preaching, American disciple of Prabhupada. She was Western, whether American or something, I don't remember. But she was preaching. And then when she was preaching, she met some local Brahmanas there who were, Sanskrit scholars and all that. And they asked her, have you studied Upanishads, Vedanta? You are talking so much, devotees are so enthusiastic in preaching. Have you studied Vedanta? So she said, of course I have studied. So they said, what you have studied? So she said, I have studied Isha Upanishad. Because Upanishad, right, it comes in Upanishad. And then she started saying verses of Upanishad. Isha vasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitam agradha kasyas viddanam Kurvanne veha karmani, jiji vishechatam sama. She started like that. And she knew only first 3 verses. So she said first verse, second verse, third verse, and then she was thinking, now I can't say it. So after third verse, that Brahmana said, okay, you know Vedanta. He said, I accept you know Vedanta because you are quoting. She knew only 3 verses. Of course, she knew the Siddhanta very nicely overall. But then she was telling Prabhupada later that Prabhupada, this person asked, and as soon as I quoted 3 verses, because I only knew 3 verses, he said, okay, I accept you know Vedanta, like that. So Prabhupada said, yes, that's how a preacher should be. Prabhupada said, because you know the conclusion, you be more confident than guy who is big scholar also. Because you know the conclusion, what should be done. That's how. So, these Upanishads, they have 2 kinds of statements in them, Bheda and Abheda, identity and difference. There are some statements which talk about identity, oneness between Supreme Lord and the living entity. 2 प्रकार के वाक्य है, भेद और अभेद. तो भेद क्या होता है? जीव में और भगवान में एकत्व का अभेद वाक्य वो होते हैं जो जीव और भगवान में एकत्व की बात करते हैं, और भेद वाक्य वो होते हैं जो जीव और भगवान में अंतर की बात करते हैं. So both the statements are there. But the Jnanakandis, they focus on the Abheda statements, identity. That's why I was saying, no? That's why they like such statements such as, I am that. I am that. See, when we talk about Lord and the living entity are one, they are one in what? Quality. They are not one in quantity, right? Like Prabhupada would give example of salt water, or take ocean. Ocean, and if you take 1 drop of that ocean, so the composition is there, saline water, both are saline water. But then we see that, you can have that drop on your hand, right? Imagine if ocean comes on your hand, what will happen? You'll be washed away, finished. So you can't compare quantitative and qualitative oneness. But what Jnanakandis do, these people who focus on the aspect of oneness, they focus only on those statements which talk about the oneness. So this is the problem with Mayavad also. Although Upanishads speak both kinds of statement, they only take one kind of statement where we talk about oneness between living entity and the Supreme Lord. And based on that, they have this philosophy that Jiva, meaning living entity, and Supreme Lord are one and the same. It's just that we have forgotten. They speak like that. We are God, but we have forgotten that we are God. So what kind of God forgets that he is God? Prabhupada would ask, what kind of God forgets that he is God? बेचारे को क्या हो गया, मतलब स्मृति भ्रंश, एमनेशिया. तो उसको फिर याददाश्त दिलानी पड़ती है कि भाई तू भगवान है करके. इससे तो ये कैसा भगवान हुआ? Right? Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, one of Prabhupada's disciples, he was in preaching in Philadelphia. And then at one fine day he saw on the temple wall outside somebody had stuck up some poster. The poster was, Buddha meditated and became the peace divine. Jesus meditated and became the forgiveness divine. Krishna meditated and became the love divine. Now God wants you to meditate and become ... It was like that. Basically, the posters were from one Mayavadi who was saying, you meditate and you can become God. So they had arranged a program like that. So then seeing the posters, devotees ka to ekdam khoon khol gaya. Ye kya hai? They are saying you can meditate and become God. God is God always. There is no question of anybody becoming God. So they told Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, you should smash these people. So devotees went also to that function where they were holding this function. So these people, they started speaking all their Mayavad, all these ideas like that, this way. So after their talk, Ravindra Swarup Prabhu raised the hand for question. So he said, you said in the class that Krishna meditated and became God, became the love divine. So he said, when he was 6 days old, he killed Putana. So when did he meditate exactly? 6 साल के भगवान थे तब उन्होंने पूतना को मारा. 6 दिन के, आई एम सॉरी, 6 दिन के भगवान थे तब पूतना को मारा, तो उनकी भगवत्ता दिखाई दी उन्होंने, बराबर है. ही प्रूव्ड हिज गॉडहुड. तो मेडिटेट कब किया? ही आस्क्ड दैट क्वेश्चन टू दैट स्पीकर एंड ही वाज लाइक, words are illusion, go beyond words. शब्द जाल है सब. Silence is the ultimate truth, he said. तो रविंद्र स्वरूप प्रभु said, पिछले 1 घंटे से आप बकवास कर रहे हो, तब शब्द, words were not illusion. I asked one question and words become illusion. What is this? He said. What philosophy is this? Like that. So then everybody got up from their party and said, words are illusion. Like that. But because of this whole questioning of Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, the audience got up and they started to say, hey, answer this question. What you are doing? He's asking something. So they started arguing amongst themselves. And then the whole party got spoiled. The whole party got spoiled. So people started saying, hey, this fellow doesn't know anything. Hey, this person knows. Where are you from? ISKCON? Okay, let's go with him. All this. So, and because they were saying words are illusion, they cannot stop anyone by speaking like that. So then devotees spoiled that whole party and came back triumphant, like that. Ravindra Swarup Prabhu said while going to them, if you are really true to your philosophy, that silence is ultimate truth and words are illusion, we don't want any of these posters tomorrow in anywhere, any part of the city or that part of locality, like that. And sure enough, the next day all the posters were gone. All these posters which had written, now God wants you to meditate and become the ... divine, this way. So that's how these guys are, you can see. They just want to focus on this aspect that we are non-different from Supreme. But what about so many, plenty of other statements which are talking about difference between the Lord and the Jiva? Jiva Goswami gives example of, 2 statements are there. This is called Arthapatti. Devadatta जो है ना, दिन में कुछ भी खाता नहीं है. देवदत्त का नाम बड़ा न्याय वालों को बहुत अच्छा लगता है. देवदत्त, भगदत्त, विष्णुदत्त, these names come in न्याय philosophy. देवदत्त दिन भर कुछ नहीं खाता है, लेकिन देवदत्त दिन ब दिन मोटा हो रहा है. क्या अर्थ है इसका? 2 वाक्य है भाई. देवदत्त दिन में तो कुछ भी नहीं खाता, लेकिन देखो तो मोटा हो रहा है दिन भर. लोग बोल रहे हैं वेट लॉस करो भाई. ऐसे. व्हाट्स द मीनिंग? व्हाट इज द कंक्लूजन? रात में खाता है. चुप के रात में खाता है. सिंपल है, बराबर है. ये तो कैसे हो सकता है ये? रात में खा रहा है, रात में 12 बजे इसका दिन शुरू होता है देवदत्त का. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज अर्थापत्ति in Sanskrit. This is one of the pramanas called अर्थापत्ति. तो उसी प्रकार से जब शास्त्र बोलता है कि भगवान का रूप नहीं है और भगवान के अनंत रूप है, रूप नहीं है और अनंत रूप है, तो इसका अर्थ क्या हो गया? भगवान का रूप नहीं है, भगवान के अनंत रूप है, मतलब भगवान का
दिव्य रूप है.
नो मटेरियल फॉर्म. भगवान का रूप दिव्य है. भगवान का भौतिक रूप नहीं है, लेकिन भगवान के अनंत रूप है, तो भगवान के सारे रूप दिव्य है. मायावादी क्या करता है? भगवान का रूप नहीं है, उतने ही स्टेटमेंट लेके बैठ जाता है. यहाँ पे ये जो बोला जा रहा है अनंत रूप है, उसका क्या? इवन गजेंद्र सेज, राइट, he says that अरूपाय उरुरूपाय. नमो अरूपाय, मैं उन भगवान का नमन करता हूँ जो अरूप है, जिनका कोई रूप नहीं है। लेकिन दूसरा आगे का वर्ड है उरु रूप, जिनके बहुत सारे बड़े बड़े विशाल रूप है। ऐसे तो हाउ कैन यू ओनली टेक वन पार्ट ऑफ स्टेटमेंट? यू हैव टू टेक बोथ एंड देन रिकंसाइल देम। देयर इज थीसिस, एंटीथेसिस, सिंथेसिस. So thesis is Lord has no form. Antithesis is Lord has unlimited forms. Synthesis is Lord has spiritual unlimited forms. देवदत्त कुछ भी खाता नहीं है दिन में, देवदत्त मोटा हो रहा है. थीसिस, एंटीथेसिस. सिंथेसिस क्या हुआ? देवदत्त रात में खा के मोटा हो रहा है. ऐसे. So that's how Shastra should be seen. You can't take just one part of statement. So Ramanujacharya says, if you take only one part of statement where the Shastra speaks about oneness between Jiva and the Supreme Lord, and that to qualitative oneness. So he says, practically 95% of Shastra speaks the difference and 5% speaks the oneness. तो आपने 5% और 95% में किस पे फोकस कर दिया मायावादी ने? 5% पे फोकस लेके बैठा है और उसको बोलता है महावाक्य. ये शास्त्र का महावाक्य है कि लघु वाक्य है ये? इज इट महावाक्य? 5% को महावाक्य कहते हो कि 95% को? तो 95% जो शास्त्र के स्टेटमेंट है, रामानुजाचार्य सेज that if you neglect 95% of statements of Shastra which talk about difference between Jiva and the living entity, are you even justifying your process of studying Shastra, he says. So this is the difference between Mahavakya and Laghu Vakya. The Mayavadis say wherever oneness is spoken, that is Mahavakya. Wherever difference is spoken, that is Laghu Vakya. तो रामानुजाचार्य पूछते हैं, see, Ramanujacharya was one of the first acharyas who brought amazing arguments against Mayavad. Because you see historically also Shankaracharya के बाद पहले आचार्य वैष्णव होते हैं रामानुजाचार्य. So Ramanujacharya, we owe a great deal of philosophy and Siddhanta to Ramanujacharya. He is a lion-like acharya, Shripad Ramanujacharya from Shri Sampradaya. So लघु वाक्य क्या हुआ? Difference. महावाक्य oneness. So Ramanujacharya says that who gave this system? ये क्या भगवान ने आके सपने में बोला क्या तुमको ये महावाक्य है और ये लघु वाक्य है? Where from this system came to call identity statements as महावाक्य and the different statement as लघु वाक्य? No. So he says entire Shastra is महावाक्य only. But if you see clearly the statements about difference between Jiva and Supreme Lord, that's the most of the scripture. Only few statements here there they talk about oneness, and that is just to show this aspect that we are qualitatively one with Supreme Lord. So what happened when Buddhism became prominent in India? No, so Buddhists, do they accept the Vedas or they reject the Vedas? Buddhas are astic or nastic? Nastic apart. So because of they rejected the Vedas, and they in fact some of them were also very aggressive. They burnt the libraries like Nalanda, Takshashila, where there were hundreds and thousands of Vedic books and all like that. That's how we see that even Kumarila Bhatta's yesterday story we heard. So Buddhism had become rampant for few centuries. And then we see that Shankaracharya, because he appeared in the 8th century, 788. That's considered to be his appearance, 788 to 820. Just 32 years life, Shankaracharya. But in 32 years, what he has accomplished is mind-blowing. Right? Great. Even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? 48 years. But we see what accomplishment. This way. So when Shankaracharya came, Buddhism was most prominent. So first he wanted to establish the glory of Vedas back. Nastikavad was everywhere. He wanted to bring back the Astikavad. So he started preaching very forcefully for re-establishing Vedas. So, what was his method? He would catch the Buddhists and say, either you debate or you go to Tibet. या तो डिबेट करो नहीं तो तिबेट जाओ, like that to the Buddhists. So he would catch Buddhists and he defeated them, and only choice was either you become follower of Buddhist or you go to Tibet. That's how Tibet became such a prominent place of Buddhism. He drove them away from Bharatvarsha. बोले तुम जहाँ जाना है जाओ, बट भारतवर्ष में मत रहो, क्योंकि भारतवर्ष means Veda is revered over here this way. And for those who would not want to debate with him and all that, they would just quietly leave like that. So he, in 32 years, he brought back the glory to Vedas. He was extreme. He is Lord Shiva. What can he not do, right? He is Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, this way. But then when he re-established the authority of the Vedas, what happened was he overemphasized, or he brought back that Jnana Kand aspect. Jnana Kand, that goal of life is what? Is to merge in impersonal Brahman, Sayujya Mukti. And what are the highest scriptures? Jnana Kand say. Which scriptures are the highest? As per Jnana Kand is? Vedanta. Yeah, what is Vedanta? Upanishads. Don't forget. Vedanta means Upanishads. Later, that same Upanishads are summarized in Vedanta Sutra. Okay, that is also known as Vedanta. But basically, Vedanta means Upanishads. That is summarized in the Vedanta Sutra. So, Shankaracharya, he in this way re-established the authority of Vedas. But because he preached Mayavad, what was the purpose? Yesterday we talked about it, right? He purposely preached Mayavad because he wanted to filter out devotees from Mayavadis, like that. He also wanted to speak some philosophy which was closer to Buddhism, so that people who are influenced by Buddhism don't have trouble accepting that philosophy. Like I'll explain this with example. What is Buddhist philosophy? सब कुछ शून्य है, everything is zero. अभी वो zero क्या है, उसके उनके 4 वर्जन है. That is surprising, no? You have 4 versions explaining nothing. There is Mahayana Buddhism, Hinayan Buddhism, Sautantric Buddhism. ये क्या सब explain कर रहा है कि कुछ भी नहीं है. Like that. So weird. You have different versions to explain nothing. This way. So Buddhism, you see in this way, it's onion and start peeling it off. Peel कर दिया onion तो अंदर क्या है? कुछ भी नहीं. शून्य. प्रभुपाद बोले जीव या भक्त प्याज नहीं है. We are not onions. Right, to give such examples. What is this example? Onion खोलो अंदर कुछ नहीं है. Like that. But they have. So the philosophy is that everything is shunya. This way. So everything is shunya, and Shankaracharya, he preached Prachannam Bauddham. He preached covered Buddhism only. Like one time, Prabhupada gives very nice example. Prabhupada says one time king had given a parrot to be taken care of to his servant. He gave a parrot, that you please take care of this parrot, very special parrot, like that. But the king was a lazy fellow. The servant was a lazy person. No problem, right? Child is crying. Yeah. Okay. So the servant was a lazy person. So he forgot to, feed parrot. वो अपनी दुनिया में था. तो parrot बेचारा चिल्लाते चिल्लाते मर गया वो. Like that. So king came to see the parrot, and then he asked the servant, the parrot is not speaking. Yeah, he said, today parrot is not speaking. But he is not making any sounds. Yeah, today he is not making any sounds. Servant is. But he is not even shaking the legs. Yeah, today legs. He is not even moving his eyes. Yeah, he is not moving his eyes. He is not telling parrot is dead. So what is going on? You tell directly that he is dead. So similarly, Shankaracharya speaks about absolute truth in terms of negation. भगवान क्या है? उनका कोई रूप नहीं है, उनका कोई रंग नहीं है, उनका कोई नाम नहीं है, उनके कोई विशेषण नहीं है, उनका शरीर नहीं है, उनकी कांति नहीं है. अरे फिर है क्या? Right? Then what he is? Is there anything? God does not have form, God does not have name, God does not have eyes, God does not have leelas, God does not have activities. This is what Mayavadis say. Then is there anything called as God? But उतना ही रह गया ना बोलना कि है ही नहीं करके. So Vaishnav Acharyas say, how is this philosophy different from Buddhism? They are directly saying everything is shunya, nothing exists, and here they are saying in a negative manner. It's actually the same philosophy. Crypto Buddhism it is called. प्रच्छन्न बौद्ध, this way. तो वो वैसा हो गया कि एक जन बोल रहा है हाँ पैरेट जो है खत्म, तोता मर गया है, और दूसरा बोल रहा है नहीं आज तोता खा नहीं रहा, बोल नहीं रहा, इधर उधर देख नहीं रहा, आंखें घुमा नहीं रहा, उड़ नहीं रहा, चल नहीं रहा. अरे बोल दे भाई मर गए करके. So this is how the two philosophies are there. You are getting this? It's actually two different versions of the same thing. Same thing. This way. So Shankaracharya's philosophy, that's why Padma Puran calls it Prachanna Bauddha. Prachanna matlab छिपा हुआ, hidden Buddhism or crypto Buddhism. Mayavadam asat shastram prachannam bauddham uchyate Mayyeva vihitam devi kalau brahmana rupina. Shiva says to Parvati that, hey Devi, in Kali Yuga I will take the form of a brahmana and I will preach this philosophy called as Mayavad, which is nothing but hidden Buddhism. Directly Lord Shiva says this to Devi in Padma Puran, this way. But Mayavadis, they say, nahi, hum nahi mante is shlok ko. They don't accept that shloka because that is directly attacking the Maya. So that in today's Padma Puran, they have manipulated so much that they removed those verses only. You don't find those verses in Gita Press's edition or like that. You find only in older editions that way. Because they directly attack Mayavad actually in this way. So anyhow, I was talking about Shankaracharya. So Shankaracharya in this way he re-established the authority of the Vedas, but the philosophy that he gave was not the perfect conclusion of the Shastra. So he was acting in somewhat, you could say, gradual bringing up of the conclusion of Shastra. Finally, Lord Chaitanya gives the highest conclusion. So there, Shankaracharya is becoming like the first step to go towards that final conclusion. So Shankaracharya, although he commented Mayavad philosophy and he commented on Bhagavad Gita, he wrote a commentary on Bhagavad Gita, he wrote a commentary on Vishnu Sahasranama, and he also wrote commentary on principal Upanishads, Shankaracharya. But he did not touch Bhagavatam. Hari Bol. Shankaracharya never touched Bhagavatam. Shankaracharya was fearful of touching Bhagavatam. Because Bhagavatam is such Amal Puran, तो अगर अमल पुराण में कुछ गड़बड़ लिख दिया उसके ऊपर तो he was fearful that the Lord will be very, very angry, upset. See, this Bhagavad Puran is Amal Puran, no? So that Puran, Shankaracharya did not comment anything on that. But he wrote some prayers like Govindashtakam, in which he has glorified pastimes from Bhagavad Puran. So you can see Shankaracharya's bhav is like this because he is Lord Shiva. In fact, he is one of the topmost speakers of Bhagavatam. Lord Shiva, you know. Shankaracharya or Lord Shiva, he keeps on speaking Bhagavatam to Devi, you know, like that. And Devi Parvati also keeps on asking questions, like that. Some chirping sound. Yes. Reminds of Vrindavan. Yes. In Govardhan, Vrindavan, you would continuously hear chirping sounds like that. So, where were we? We were talking about Shankaracharya. So Shankaracharya did not comment on Srimad Bhagavatam at all. But he wrote these Ashtakams in which Shankaracharya has glorified pastimes that are only mentioned in Bhagavatam. Like there is a Leela in Bhagavatam where Krishna eats the mud. You have heard that Leela? Mridbhakshan, where Krishna eats the dirt. So now this pastime is only mentioned in Bhagavat Puran. It is not mentioned in any other Puran. Like although Padma Puran, Vishnu Puran, they also speak about pastimes of Krishna. But Mridbhakshan is unique to Bhagavatam. And Shankaracharya glorifies this Leela in his Govindashtakam. So you see, Shankaracharya is glorifying the Leelas of Bhagavatam, but he is not commenting anything directly on Bhagavatam. So he is accomplishing both the purpose. He is not touching Bhagavatam, thereby not inviting the wrath of the Lord, but at the same time by writing Govindashtakam in which he is glorifying these Leelas like Chirharan. Chirharan is also mentioned only in Bhagavatam, that Leela of Krishna stealing the garments of the gopis. Also this another Leela of Mridbhakshan as I spoke. So this is how. So Shankaracharya, why he did not touch Bhagavatam? Because he did not want to touch the Amal Puran and come up with his ideology which is of Mayavad that way. He commented on Gita but not on Bhagavatam, absolutely, because Bhagavatam is Amal Puran this way. And because Shankaracharya did not comment on Bhagavatam, so we see that Ramanujacharya also did not comment on Bhagavatam. Shripad Ramanujacharya has never quoted from Bhagavatam anything. That's why sometimes Sri Sampradaya Acharyas, you may feel like they may ask, but our Acharya never quoted Bhagavatam. They may say. Why did Ramanujacharya not quote Bhagavatam? Because Ramanujacharya was primarily dealing with the arguments of Shankaracharya. He was defeating the philosophy of Shankaracharya. So when you defeat, when you are basically dealing with a certain philosophy in order to refute it, there is something called as Purva Paksha Pramanya. Purva Paksha Pramanya. Meaning you will only refer to those books which are referred by your opponent. If you bring in some new books, he will say, "Arey tum to naye books leke aa gaye." So you take the same books that your opponent has taken and still prove that his philosophy is wrong. Very formidable, right? This is how the acharyas deal with it. So he wanted to show that Shankaracharya's conclusion of Shastra, which is Mayavad, is incorrect. For that he did not even take help of Vishnu Puran or these other Puranas. Exactly referring to the same set of scriptures, he refuted the philosophy. So this was the reason why he never quoted Bhagavatam this way. So this was Ramanujacharya. But the first Acharya who brought back the spotlight on Srimad Bhagavatam is Shripad Madhvacharya. Shripad Madhvacharya ki. He wrote a commentary on Bhagavatam called as Bhagavat Tatparya Nirnay. So you see what is happening. Shankaracharya, in Buddha's time, no Vedas, Nastika. So now from Puranas वगैरह को कोई देखता नहीं था. सारे लोग बोलते थे उपनिषद ही, वेदांत, सब वेदांत पढ़ने वाले हैं. वेदांत तब की IITs were studying only Vedanta there. Or whatever, the topmost colleges were studying only Vedanta. But Ramanujacharya brought back the glory to the Puranas. And Madhvacharya brought the glory even amongst Puranas back to the Bhagavatam. So he wrote a commentary on Bhagavatam, he wrote a commentary on Mahabharata also. Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnay and Bhagavata Tatparya Nirnay. So you see how the focus is shifting back. वो जो फोकस वेदों से चला गया था कौन से टाइम में? बुद्धिज्म टाइम में. बुद्धिज्म टाइम में वेदों से चला गया था, तो शंकराचार्य ने वो वापस ला दिया वेदों पे, और रामानुजाचार्य मध्वाचार्य ने वो वेदों में भी जो सिर्फ उपनिषद पे था फोकस, दे ब्रॉट इट बैक टू द पुराणास, एंड स्पेशली मध्वाचार्य ब्रॉट इट टू पुराणास. Within that also Bhagavat Puran and Mahabharata. These two became very prominent scriptures because of Madhvacharya's efforts. Madhvacharya's Bhagavata Tatparya Nirnaya is a very wonderful commentary on Bhagavatam, like that. So this is how Shankaracharya did not touch Srimad Bhagavatam. We talked about this. शंकराचार्य ने तो भागवतम पे टीका नहीं की, लेकिन शंकराचार्य के बाद कुछ आचार्य थे अद्वैत संप्रदाय के, दे कमेंटेड ऑन भागवतम. So Madhvacharya, he wanted that Vaishnavas should not read those commentaries of Mayavadis. That's why he wrote a book called Bhagavat Tatparya Nirnaya. And then comes this personality called Vopadeva. In case any of you want to ask, in between ask. This is like a session where if you wish to ask something, just raise hand and ask. Then came this personality called Vopadeva. You have heard about Vopadeva?
Yes.
Yeah. So this person was a great Bhagavatam scholar and teacher from Devagiri. Devagiri is Aurangabad, or rather Sambhaji Nagar now, in Maharashtra. Vopadev. And he wrote these wonderful books glorifying Bhagavatam, Hari Lilamrita, Mukta Phalam and Paramhamsa Priya. So Vopadev popularized Bhagavatam so much he popularized, that people started saying Vopadev only wrote Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada addresses then this in first canto purport, where Prabhupada says that some people say that Vopadev wrote Bhagavatam and not Vyasadev wrote Bhagavatam. So actually Vopadev had glorified Bhagavatam, and his intention was never to be called as a compiler of Bhagavatam. But the people, especially some anti-elements to Vaishnavism, they started saying, because Bhagavatam was becoming so popular, so they wanted to discredit Bhagavatam by saying, अरे नहीं, इसको तो वोपदेव ने लिखा है, व्यासदेव ने लिखा ही नहीं है. फिर अगर व्यासदेव ने लिखा ही नहीं ऐसे बोलेंगे तो फिर कोई पढ़ेगा नहीं उसको. Although it is written by Vyasdev, it is written by Vyasdev as the last scripture. Vyasdev, before writing Bhagavatam, he was not satisfied, isn't it? You all know that story. And only after writing Bhagavatam he became completely satisfied. So Vyasdev only has written this scripture, but that idea became very popular. So that's what Vopadev did, and he also popularized Bhagavatam. And then comes on the scene this great Acharya called Sridhara Swami. Sridhara Swami, who wrote the most famous commentary on Bhagavatam called as Bhavartha Deepika. So Sridhar Swami is that person whom Lord Chaitanya also gives a great regard. Anybody of you, if you want to study Srimad Bhagavatam, no, we should study it with the commentary of Sridhar Swami. Of course, after you have studied Prabhupada purports nicely. First and foremost, we should study Prabhupada's purports wonderfully. And then, additionally, if you want to study deeply, then Sridhar Swami's commentary we can study. Because every Acharya follows Sridhar Swami. Sridhar Swami is de facto the greatest commentator on Bhagavatam. And Mahaprabhu said, Sridhar Swami Guru Kori Mani. We accept Sridhar Swami as Guru, as Jagat Guru, because he has written such a beautiful commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. Sridhar Swami, this way. So his commentary is Bhavartha Deepika. So after Sridhar Swami, which is 15th century, then appears Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the scenario before Lord Chaitanya appeared on the scene. You can see all these acharyas had taken the trouble to bring the glory to Bhagavatam, and then Lord Chaitanya appeared. What is the year of appearance of Lord Chaitanya? 1486. Yes. So when Lord Chaitanya appeared, somewhat revival of Bhagavatam had happened already with all these efforts. But the way Lord Chaitanya popularized Bhagavatam, meaning Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, it was unprecedented. Practically Bhagavatam became a household name. Everybody focused on studying Bhagavatam. Previously they were studying a lot of other books, but then practically de facto standard became Vidyavatam Bhagavate Pariksha. They started saying that if you want to test a learned person, check him in his knowledge of Bhagavatam. Hari Bol. विद्यावताम, विद्यावान लोगों की परीक्षा करनी है तो भागवत में परीक्षा करो उनकी. तो भागवत ही नहीं आता है तो काहे का विद्वान है, तो पोंगा पंडित हो गया है. विद्या भागवतावधि. दे स्टार्टेड सेइंग सारे विद्या का समिट, द जेनिथ ऑफ all the knowledge is Bhagavatam, like that. So all these ideas became prominent in that era because Lord Chaitanya and his followers brought Bhagavatam such a glory. So this is like a revival of completely Bhagavatam. So Lord Chaitanya taught this, Bhagavatam is the highest praman, right? This famous verse, Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam रम्या काजित उपासना व्रजवधू वर्गेण या कल्पिता श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणममलं प्रेमापुमर्थो महान् श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभोर्मतमिदं तत्रादरः न पर. This verse is written by Srinath Chakravarti. Srinath Chakravarti is Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya's first commentator on Bhagavatam. Srinath Chakravarti, Chaitanya Mata Manjusha. He is the guru of Kavi Karnapur. You know Kavi Karnapur is a very prominent acharya. So his guru is Srinath Pandit. And Srinath Pandit wrote this verse. अगर आपको बताना है किसी को कि गौड़ीय वैष्णव फिलॉसफी क्या है ना, इस श्लोक को आपको याद रखना है बस. आराध्यो भगवान व्रजेश तनया. आपके कौन आराध्य है, इष्ट देवता कौन है आपकी? व्रजेश तनया, भगवान व्रजेंद्र नंदन श्री कृष्ण श्याम सुंदर. अच्छा, धाम कौन सा आपका आराध्य है? वृंदावनम. अच्छा, कैसी आराधना करनी है भगवान की, किस प्रकार से? व्रजवधू वर्गेन, जैसे व्रजवधुओं ने, गोपियों ने की, श्रीमती राधा रानी ने की भगवान की आराधना, वैसी आराधना को हम सर्वश्रेष्ठ मानते हैं. राधा दास्यम. अच्छा, आप लोगों का प्रमाण कौन सा है सबसे बड़ा? श्रीमद् भागवतम. और फिर आप लोग धर्म अर्थ काम या मोक्ष किसको सर्वश्रेष्ठ मानते हो? प्रेम को मानते हैं, चारों को नहीं मानते. धर्म अर्थ काम कौन सा है हाईएस्ट? प्रेम. तो ये 5 चीजें आपने याद रखी ना, आपको सार में वैष्णव फिलॉसफी पता है सब. देखो एक श्लोक में दे दिया उन्होंने सार सारा एकदम. आराध्य दैवत भगवान श्री कृष्ण, आराध्य धाम वृंदावन, और फिर सेवा का विधि जो है व्रजवधुओं के द्वारा दिया हुआ, और फिर प्रमाण श्रीमद् भागवतम, और जो परम पुरुषार्थ है वो क्या है? प्रेमा. पंचम पुरुषार्थ बोलते श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभोर मतम. ये चैतन्य महाप्रभु का मत है, और तत्रादरः न पर, इसमें हमारा परम आदर है. श्रीनाथ चक्रवर्ती कहते हैं हम इसको परम आदर से मानते हैं एकदम, ये बात है. तो इस प्रकार से गौड़ीय संप्रदाय में महाप्रभु taught that how we are accepting Srimad Bhagavatam as the highest praman, and he said Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra, so we don't need any other commentary. We talked about that idea yesterday in detail. So you see, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave understanding that how Bhagavatam is highest praman, then on the Bhagavatam, hundreds of books started coming. So Srinath Chakravarti Chaitanya Mata Manjusha is the first commentary on Bhagavatam in our Sampradaya. Then Sanatana Goswami wrote his commentary called Brihad Vaishnava Toshani. Even if you don't remember these names, it is only, it is so joyous to hear the names also, isn't it? Right? Brihad Vaishnava Toshani, Laghu Vaishnava Toshani. What does that mean? Sanatana Goswami wrote 10th canto's commentary Bhagavatam and gave it the name Brihad Vaishnava Toshani. Means what? Toshani means that which gives pleasure or satisfies. Brihad Vaishnava, जो वैष्णवों को अति प्रसन्न करती है, ऐसी वो टीका, that is called Brihad Vaishnava Toshani. क्योंकि उसमें भगवान का बड़ा अच्छा गुणगान है. Lord is glorified, very wonderful. So because Sanatana Goswami had written Brihad Vaishnava Toshani, so when Jiva Goswami wrote his commentary, he gave it the name Laghu Vaishnava Toshani. Because he said Sanatana Goswami's commentary pleases Vaishnavas so much, mine cannot please that much, so mine pleases little bit. So he gave the name Laghu Vaishnav Toshani. ऐसे उनकी तो बृहद है, मेरा अपना भाई छोटा थोड़ा मोटा कमेंट्री, और वो छोटा मोटा मतलब उसको पढ़ते पढ़ते जान निकल जाती है. It's like that. In fact, Jiva Goswami has glorified Bhagavatam so much. He did not write one, he write 3 commentaries on Bhagavatam. एक छोड़ो, दो छोड़ो, तीन. See, commentary is what? The original text of Shastra is explained. What that shloka is saying, that is called commentary. भाष्य बोलते हैं उसको या टीका बोलते हैं. So you have the verse, and then below that in Sanskrit only they will explain the verse. That is called commentary. English translation नहीं होता उसका. The tikas are Sanskrit, so there is no translation in tika. You only have verse and explanation. When you see in modern times the translation is by that author. It is not Vishwanath Chakravarti's translation. It is Bhanu Swami's translation. You know, Vishwanath Chakravarti only writes commentary like that below. So Sanatana Goswami wrote that, and Rup Goswami, he did not write any commentary on Bhagavatam, but he wrote books on various pastimes, on poetry. But there is one personality whose contribution we are going to talk. This is the last part of session now. Srila Jiva Goswami, he practically made the Bhagavatam name a household name. तब जब मैं बताऊंगा कि 18 पुराण है ना, 18 पुराण, 18 पुराणों के सारे श्लोकों को अगर आप मिला दो, if you add all the 18 Puranas verses, it comes to 4 lakh. So Jiva Goswami has written Bhagavatam's glorification, which is same content as 18 Puranas. You can imagine how much he has written. What a prolific author to write 4 lakh verses, you know, this way. So we'll end in 5 minutes. That's okay. 4 lakh verses, Prabhu, he has written, and it is an extraordinary glorification. One time I was talking with one very prominent person, a very great scholar in Varanasi. And this person, he is actually an expert in Nyaya, Nyaya Darshan. But he has studied Jiva Goswami's books very thoroughly. And he is sort of devotee only. It's just that he has his family tradition also, so he practices. So he was invited in Vrindavan to give a talk on Jiva Goswami's Achintya Bhedabhed Tattva. He was spoken. So we took the opportunity to meet him, Mr. Shukla, you know. So this personality, he was saying, Prabhuji, आपको पता नहीं है आपके आचार्य के बारे में. You know, he was telling me ऐसा. तो मैं बोला yes. नहीं बोले yes नहीं, आपको पता नहीं है. Like that. So I said, yeah bro, I have read somewhat. I also study and teach Sandarbhas and all things. बोला नहीं, आपको पता नहीं है प्रभुजी. बोले what he has done for the Vaishnav community and especially revival of Srimad Bhagavatam, he said it is unprecedented. Only if you understand full glory of it, then he said you will understand what level he has done. Because this person is like, he's one of the topmost scholars in India.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very, very learned man in all streams, you know. Like you can give him a book and he can teach you. Any book of any sampradaya he can teach. He's like that person. Sometimes people are that, Saraswati is so much of mercy on him. So this person, but he's a very humble soul also, genuine and devotee kind of person only. So then he was saying that actually he said the way he has written Srimad Bhagavatam, he said if he would not have done that, he said everywhere there would have been only Advait Sampradaya Mayavadis. But because the way he has written this Sandarbhas and all that, so he says practically he has protected entire Vaishnava community of North India from the influence of Mayavad. Because you just cannot find fault only with that book. Nobody can refute only those Sandarbhas, 6 Sandarbhas that he has spoken. So in our Sampradaya, that 6 Sandarbhas are the final book to be studied on Bhagavatam, if you want to understand the glory of Bhagavatam. So Jiva Goswami, he had this challenge that he should give the philosophical basis of our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, but then he cannot write a commentary on Vedanta. Why can't he write a commentary on Vedanta? Yes? Why Jiva Goswami was not writing a commentary on Vedanta? Anybody?
It's a natural commentary.
Because natural commentary is Bhagavatam. And Lord Chaitanya said that you don't need a commentary. So he could not write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. But if you have to establish Sampradaya's philosophy, you need to write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. That's one of the rules given by Shankaracharya. So what Jiva Goswami did is, he wrote 6 sandarbhas where he explained the whole philosophy of Gaudiya Tattvajnana, but without writing a necessary commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So what he did is, he established that intellectual standard of our philosophy by giving the 6 sandarbhas. So you can see 6 sandarbhas, they are actually explaining our whole philosophy, how it is on the basis of Vedanta. But taking from Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is natural commentary. So Vedanta Sutra and Sandarbhas, they are very much connected. Vedanta Sutra has 4 chapters, Sandarbhas are 6. So 4 chapters of Vedanta Sutra are dealt in 6 Sandarbhas. So don't worry about those details, those are more detailed things. We are just coming to the end. Sandarbha, what does the word itself mean? Sandarbha means embroidery, tapestry. You know embroidery? Yeah. So you take the threads and you weave a pattern, that's called embroidery. So Sandarbha word means a pattern. So what Jiva Goswami has done is, he has taken the threads of the verses of Bhagavatam and has woven a tapestry or embroidery of Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. It's called Sandarbha, literally. Another is thematic study. There are 2 approaches to study. When you study text by text by text, it is called systematic. When you study by topic, it is called thematic. So when you are studying Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, is it a systematic study or is it a thematic study? It is a systematic study, verse by verse by verse. But when you study a book like Sandarbhas, where first topic talks about, okay, what is Bhagavan, what is Brahman, what is Paramatma, what is Bhakti, various topics. Is this systematic or thematic? It is thematic. Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Bhagavatarka Marichi Mala, thematic study. This is thematic study, So nobody has given a thematic approach as Jiva Goswami gave in Sandarbhas. He explained all 18,000 verses in that thematic manner. It was much better than any of the previous efforts like Vopadeva. He not only wrote Sandarbhas, but he also explained the Sandarbhas by writing Tika also on it. Sandarbhas, he explained, Sandarbhas themselves were 4 lakh verses. On that he wrote also explanation. Just so that, devotees, sometimes people or devotees should not feel, "Arey, bahut tough hai, agle janam mein padhta hu." Right? Sometimes, one time I was teaching Tattva Sandarbha and one topic came there which was very tough. So one devotee came to me and he said, "Prabhuji," I said, "What happened?" I said, "No, I know this topic was difficult. Most of them don't understand. Don't worry." No, bola Prabhuji, no, my point is not that. I think that I can study Sandarbhas in next life. So he was like that. So I said, "Why you are getting so much discouraged?" No, Prabhuji, I really feel like that. Though I said, "You will have a long life. You study in this life only." This way. So sometimes he writes in such, if you want to get intellectually humiliated, read Sandarbha. It's a thorough intellectual humiliation. Like I also used to feel that I am very intelligent. But when I read it, मेरे को कुछ समझ नहीं रहा था कि क्या बोल रहे exactly ये. So then I sat with Shuklaji also and I said, "Please explain this to me, what he's saying." And when he explained, then I am, oh my God, okay, this is how it is. See, Jiva Goswami's style is, he assumes that you are a very learned man already. ऐसे तो उनको लगता है, मतलब वो ऐसे बात करते कि आपको सब पता है. तो वो बोलते हैं कि जैसे he says that, so now here the निर्विकल्प प्रत्यक्ष gets refuted. So आपको पहले पता होना चाहिए निर्विकल्प प्रत्यक्ष क्या होता है, like that. So he assumes that you have all studied all these fundamentals and then he speaks. And his style is also very brief. वो बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं बोलते. Meaning it's an extensive book, but the style is very hence proved. तो आपको hence proved में you have to understand what all things he has spoken, like that. So it's विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती is like very merciful. वो खोल खोल के बताते हैं, बच्चे को जैसे बताया जाता है ना ऐसे, तो बच्चे को खोल खोल के कमेंट्री बताते हैं, वैसे विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती वेरी स्वीट, ही विल, अच्छा समझा बेटा, नहीं समझा, ठीक है फिर से समझाता हूँ, अच्छा हाँ तो ये ऐसा होता है, याद आया ये, समझा, हाँ फिर आगे चलेंगे. तो ऐसा विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती का स्टाइल है. एंड जीव गोस्वामी इज लाइक you might expect step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. He gives step 1, then step 5, step 10. बीच में आपको figure out करना है, like that. If you can't figure out, you are not of the caliber of reading that. This way. So we are very thankful to Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is there for us, He is also like that, right? Bala Prabodhini. He writes for balas. एक एक चीज़ खोल खोल के समझाते हैं, बार बार रिपीट करते हैं, बार बार रिपीट करते. बाय द टाइम यू एंड द purport, you know what he is saying very clearly, like that. Even a child can understand. So Srila Prabhupada, you can see it is amazing that taking all this profound philosophy, somebody can give in his purports in a way that is practically relevant, in a way that is understandable, and still it is equally effective. What effect would have occurred by reading Jiva Goswami's Sandarbha, same effect is occurring by reading Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam. But without all that difficulty and that whole training that you have to have in Sanskrit and all that, isn't it marvelous actually? It's miraculous literally. ऐसी इतनी empowerment किसको होती है? That you can bring all those lofty concepts, keep it in a simple purport. As soon as someone reads it, he understands what should I do. I should chant Hare Krishna, serve the Vaishnavas, serve Krishna. What a... This is impossible without empowerment of that sort. So he is extraordinary. I mean, all the acharyas in our line, they are great. And by their mercy only Srila Prabhupada has been able to do so much. But still, he was chosen also for a particular task. So that also we have to see. Every acharya is chosen for a certain accomplishment. So all these 4 defects, we are discussing in Ishopanishad. ये किसने बोला है? सबसे पहले 4 defects, तत्व संदर्भ. जीव गोस्वामी gave 4 defects. उसमें से जीव प्रभुपाद जी ने बढ़िया से निकाल के हमें दे दिया, जितना relevant है वो. जीव गोस्वामी speaks about 10 pramanas. प्रभुपाद ने जाना कि 10 बहुत हो जाएंगे, कलयुग का ब्रेन है, इसको 10 ज़्यादा हो जाएंगे. प्रभुपाद ने कितने प्रमाण दिए? 3 प्रमाण दिए, बस खुश रहो. शब्द, प्रत्यक्ष, अनुमान, बस हो गया. 10 प्रमाण Jiva Goswami explained, all 10 different pramanas. This way. So this was Jiva Goswami. He wrote 400,000 verses in Sanskrit. It's extraordinary, prolific writing. He wrote 3 commentaries on Bhagavatam, Laghu Vaishnav Toshani, Krama Sandarbha and Brihat Krama Sandarbha. He also wrote books like Gopal Champu, explaining the details and correct order of pastimes of Bhagavatam. Shukdev Goswami in Bhagavatam mein, he is in ecstasy. So sometimes he speaks some pastime before and some pastime later. Krishna performed one Leela before, but Shukdev speaks later. Why? Because वो ecstasy में आदमी हो. Right? He is in ecstasy. So see, if you are talking about your, beloved person, do you follow chronology? एक chronological account वगैरह ये तो formal हो गया. Like if the person whom you love the most, like spiritual master or mother, suppose somebody loves his mother, so please tell me something about your mother. So हम लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं, my mother was born in year 1953. Then she went to a school called Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan School. Then she joined. ऐसे बात करते हैं हम लोग. Oh, mother, what can I tell you? She 2 days she was awake. Recently when I was sick, 2 days she was awake. Directly what comes to your mind, you start speaking, right? Because that's love. Love doesn't follow chronology. So that's Shukdeva's condition in describing 10th canto pastime. तो वो ऑर्डर को थोड़ा उल्टा पुल्टा कर देते हैं. तो इसको लेके स्कॉलर लोग बोलते हैं, अरे ये क्या है, उल्टा पुल्टा क्यों कर दिया ऑर्डर को? दिस पास्ट टाइम हैपेंड बिफोर, दिस हैपेंड लेटर. अरे यू फूल्स, यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड, ही इज स्पीकिंग आउट ऑफ एक्सटेसी, राइट? सो जीवा गोस्वामी इन ऑर्डर टू पैसिफाई दिस स्कॉलर सेज, ओके आई विल गिव यू द करेक्ट ऑर्डर. ठीक है, keep quiet. I will give you the correct order of pastime. So in Gopal Champu, he has Bhagavatam's 10th canto's pastimes, he has put in right order. कौन सा पहले हुआ, कौन सा बाद में हुआ. Like if you know, in Bhagavatam, there is this pastime of all the Brajvasis meeting Krishna and all at the time of eclipse, solar eclipse. Like that. Kurukshetra mein. And then pastime of Balramji leaving, not participating in war and leaving. Balramji did not participate in Kurukshetra war. So that pastime is spoken before the pastime of this eclipse meeting.
Okay.
अगर आप देखोगे तो Balramji is leaving Kurukshetra, not participating in battle. That is, I think, 72 or like that chapter. And you see eclipse meeting is
84.
chapter number 84.
84.
But actually, meeting at eclipse happened much before.
Okay.
And Balramji's leaving is much later.
It is
But you see, he is. So it's out of ecstasy, like that he speaks. So then what Jiva Goswami does is he puts the right order back. So that then, okay, those who want chronology also can have proper. So like that many pastimes are there where he changes the order. So Gopal Champu does that order. And it's an ecstatic book. Such emotions, just meaning reading one verse, tears will come out of your eyes. आपको विश्वास नहीं होगा, ये वही है वो तत्व संदर्भ लिखने वाले आचार्य who writes such hair splitting philosophy, बाल की खाल निकालने वाली. But when it comes to emotions, he writes such emotions that as soon as you read it, tears will come out of your eyes. He's like that. So this is our acharyas actually. Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, all the way up to Prabhupada. When he is describing pastimes and when he is describing philosophy, both times you see. There was the Janmashtami program in New Vrindavan and everybody had fasted. So when the fasting breaking time came near, Prabhupada said, start reading Krishna book. So they read Krishna book, one pastime, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Prabhupada is not stopping only. और पढ़ने वाला बेचारा सोच रहा है 12 बज गए अभी, मेरे भी 12 बजे हुए. Right? So let's have prasadam. Prabhupada said, one more, please read. And then he read some 2, 3 more also. Then they were looking at Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, one more, like that. Finally Prabhupada saw all of them and he saw they are fasting for the whole day. He was going on with so much ecstasy. Of course, he is concerned about devotees also. But at that point of time, he was getting so much ecstasy, although he has also fasted. He is 74 years old that time. But he was getting so much ecstasy. But then looking at all the devotees, he said, okay, now let's have Aarti and Prasad. And then devotees, Haribol! They were very happy. When Krishna Katha ended, they were happy. Yeah, because understandably, like that. So Prabhupada also, the way he relished. And then when he is speaking about you are not body, you are spirit, soul, there also, how much he can go on and on and on with that, both these aspects. So these are acharyas, rasa and tattva, both the aspects. Okay, so these are the further acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Sarar Darshini. So this commentary is one of the sweetest commentary on Bhagavatam, Vishwanath Chakravarti. We come to His Divine Grace, Abhay Charna Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, the first acharya who wrote a commentary, complete commentary on Bhagavatam in English language. Text by text. So the first personality, text by text, every single text he is writing commentary like that. Previously some works were there, but they were summary. But Prabhupada wrote extensive. Same way with Chaitanya Charitamrita also, but especially Bhagavatam. And this is the commentary that spread Bhagavatam's glory not all over North India, not all over India, all over the world. So you can imagine, it's a very, very special empowerment. Prabhupada's presentation of Bhagavatam is the most unique because it combines the teachings and the philosophy both. Acharyas speak only philosophical aspect. In prior Acharya's commentaries, you will not hear statements such as, so that is why a devotee should be humble and should serve the Vaishnavas. For a devotee, the life is that he should be servant of Vaishnava. This is why one should be careful of not offending. They don't talk like this. They will only explain the text. उसके बाद तुम जो करना है करो, ऐसा नहीं है जो करना है करो, but they don't give that lesson. That's not how they write, that's not the style. You just explain the text, finished. But Prabhupada knew that if Kali Yuga person, if you just explain the text, वो बोलेगा अच्छा लगा, आज के आनंद की जय, हरे कृष्ण, चलो निकलो. Prabhupada is writing what you should do now. After going through all this, so a Vaishnava should chant Hare Krishna, he should serve devotees, he should be grateful, should not offend the devotees, so he should be in association. See all these practical instructions. क्योंकि कलयुग का जीव है, इतना आलसी है, वो एक पेज पढ़ता है सिर्फ. प्रभुपाद ने ऐसे कहा, see, like one of the reporters asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, they say that in your Bhagavad Gita you have put bhakti, 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 everywhere bhakti only, right? You have seen Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. Karma Yog, udhar bhi bhakti. Dhyan Yog, udhar bhi bhakti. Sab jagah bhakti. So why have you done like this? So Prabhupada said, because Krishna gives Bhakti Yoga as the conclusion. So yes, he gives that conclusion in the middle section. No. Why you are giving everywhere? Prabhupada said, because I am convinced that Kali Yuga person will not read beyond one page. So if that first page also he should get the conclusion. Hari Bol. So he said, I have written my books in such a way that the laziest of Kali Yuga person, even if he reads half page, he goes home with the message, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead and I have to chant Hare Krishna to attain him. So this is why, this is how, and then the reporter was saying, yeah, actually. Prabhupada said, yes. So this is the best strategy actually. Yeah, Prabhupada said, because this fellow is not patient enough to read the conclusion in middle section or in 18.66. I want to give him right in the beginning. And that's why he has placed like that. Of course, he has done full justice with the topic also. Karma Yoga, he explains Karma Yoga, but he makes sure that, you know, Krishna is saying there Karma Yoga and Prabhupada says, so this is Karma Yoga in essence, but anyway, this is not practical, so you should do Bhakti Yoga. Krishna is speaking about Dhyana Yoga, Prabhupada says, so all these are asanas and all mentioned by Krishna, but it's not practical, you should do Bhakti Yoga. So you see, this is the mood of the Acharya. So once you understand the mood of the Acharya, no, for us, these statements of Prabhupada are not confusing, they are endearing. हम लोगों को लगता है देखो ये कंसर्न कितना है, इधर मैं टॉपिक से बहना जाऊँ इसलिए इधर भी बता रहे हैं मुझे. So actually once, that's why you have to know the mood of Acharya. Once you know the mood of Acharya, you know, everything makes sense to us. For someone who is outside of that mood, it's difficult for him to understand. So that's Srila Prabhupada's unique presentation, where he has combined the application and the Siddhanta. So this is the best part of it. Whatever Acharyas, Siddha Swami, Jiva Goswami and all they want to give, we have got it through Srila Prabhupada's purports. It's just that we take these purports to our heart and make this Bhagavatam as our life and soul. Sanatana Goswami says that how Srimad Bhagavatam, Mama ek bandho mat sangin mat guru man mahadhana man nistaraka mad bhagya madananda namostute. He says, let that Bhagavatam be my constant companion. So you may carry, or you may carry in your phone, whatever, or you may carry in your heart meditating on the message of Bhagavatam, but let's make this constant companion. So that was my effort to share the glory of Bhagavatam in Vaishnava sampradaya. I hope this was useful. Hari Bol. श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराणम की, शिल प्रभुपाद की, समस्त आचार्य वृंद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. Thank you very much for patiently listening. Hare Krishna. All right. Any questions, anyone? No questions. Only question is, what's there in prasadam? Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Bol.
We are
Thank
so
you very
grateful, Prabhu. So much insight you have given actually.
Hare Bol.
Remembering that we should keep on hearing this. So wonderful nectar actually.
Yeah.